What is up, guys? We're in the house here on a Saturday. Here with King Channing here. But as always, cue my guy Indigo Saint. Let's get it. Boom. Let's get it. Indigo Saint in the building. Blackrue Investing. Let's go.
Who's this producer?
Best believe it was Blackrue Investing. With your money, you ain't gotta be guessing. Profits is what we manifesting. So we binge on that Blackrue Investing. Best believe it was Blackrue Investing. That course in this race, we ain't resting. We got stocks, we got crypto with a blessing. Thank God for that Blackrue Investing. Best believe it was Blackrue Investing.
And cue affiliate partner DCENT Wallet now. Your crypto deserves the best protection. So why settle for less? DCENT Crypto Wallet isn't just another wallet. It's safe, secure, easy to use, and supports your favorite cryptocurrencies all at the touch of a button. And now with my exclusive link, you'll save $30 on your new wallet. Better security, smarter investing, $30 in your pocket. Click on the link now and secure your better security today. All right, guys. So we're here with King Channing. You know King Channing, a frequent contributor with Max as well, our guy Max. And, I don't really talk about Quant because these guys, Max, Channing, they do such a good job. Maybe I might talk about it a little bit more, but really, I'd rather direct you to these guys' channels because they're about that life and they're doing it well. So let's have Channing introduce himself to you guys, let you know how he got into crypto, what he thinks about Quant, and we'll take it from there. Go ahead, Channing.
Hey, you guys, I'm King Channing over here on YouTube as well as on X. So my crypto journey, it kind of sort of started about maybe 3.5, 4 years ago. It was right after the pandemic. And there was a guy in the gym talking about Tesla and I want to say Apple stock at that point in time. And I had just recently downloaded Robinhood, but I hadn't invested anything because I just wasn't sure how to do it, what to invest in or whatever the case may be. So I wound up talking with him and he led me down the path of, like I said, Tesla and Apple. And I did that, which then opened up a door to a couple other like Chinese EV companies and different things of that nature. Well, we had a little investing group that we would kind of sort of meet via text message and on, I think, Telegram. And then all of a sudden, he just goes ghost. And after about maybe 3 or 4 months, I hit him up and I'm like, hey, brother, what's going on? Like, where you been? He's like, oh, man, I done got into crypto. I was like, crypto? What are you talking about? So that led me into Dogecoin. So, and this was right before, I think I got into Dogecoin right before like the major pop. It probably had like maybe 2 zeros at that point in time before it actually hit a cent. And I saw what my stock portfolio was doing versus what my Dogecoin portfolio had just did. And it was like, what in the world is crypto? So I kind of sort of started doing a little bit more research. And then that led me down the pathway of Shiba Inu. And I got into Shiba Inu early, like it was like right after Binance listed it. So I got it. I think I had the height of my Shiba Inu wallet, like 1.2 billion Shiba Inu, which did very well. But around that time, I started to dive deeper into this whole crypto thing. And it was like, well, if this is a meme token, then there has to be something out there with actual like substance and value and utility, which led me down the pathway of the ISOs. And once I found the ISOs and then stumbled onto Quant and then realized everything that Quant had going on and all of the interconnectedness that they have within the traditional financial system with governments and central banks and multinational corporations, it was a no-brainer for me. So needless to say, I sold 1.2 billion Shiba Inu and I invested it into Quant, which then, of course, led me down to other ISOs like, HBAR and XLM and XDC, what's bringing the real value of Web3. Although meme tokens are good and cute, and they have their lane and they had their time, I think we're moving more towards a realm of true value, utility, and institutional investors and capital actually moving into the market. And, so that's just a very brief synopsis of like my crypto journey somewhat between then and now. I'm very much focused on utility and locked into this whole shift of Web3 that's happening right now in 2025.
Awesome, brother. Perhaps people don't know this, but my show started as a stock show on Benzinga. Benzinga is a company in Detroit. They do stock news, and they have their own little platform and everything about that. So it's interesting how you mentioned, I was on Robinhood and I compared my stock portfolio to my crypto portfolio. That's exactly what kind of happened to me there. I was investing in Cardano, and then I was in these stocks, and I'm looking at Cardano go from like 2 cents to $1. I'm like, yeah, time to get into crypto over here. So very, very interesting there. So, hey, Quant, you're the guy. You're one of the guys about Quant. I was looking into it. I got a little stuff to kind of go into about Quant, relating it to Zebec. But can you get into Quant a little bit for us? It specifically kind of, Gilbert Verdian, the I think it's TC307, and all this stuff about Quant and why people should be invested in Quant.
Okay, I think my connection might be a little bad, and I'm trying to figure out why, because I'm hardwired in. So I caught most of that.
Okay.
Can you hear me pretty good?
Yes.
Am I breaking up?
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay. So Quant, one of the first things that kind of sort of piqued my interest about Quant was an entity called the Bank of International Settlements, which I'm sure you talked about on your channel, which I talked about on my channel, which is the central bank of central banks. And when I really truly understood who they were and what they do, and then understood that, wow, there's a crypto player working alongside of an entity that big. Because you got to remember, in Shiba Inu, it's the developers that are all undoxed behind emojis and memes and NFTs. And there's a lot of talk about roadmaps and Shibarium and all these things that kind of sort of never truly came into fruition the way it was supposed to. I won't go too deep into all of that, but to understand that, there's an entity working with something like the Bank of International Settlements. And then I started diving even deeper and like, wait a minute, they have ties back to the Bank of England and ties back to the ECB, the European Central Bank, and the Federal Reserve of America. Wait a minute, hold on. Let me see who's over this company. And I'm like, Gilbert Verdian. Then I look at his resume, blown away. Like, all the things that he has been tied to throughout the course of his career, and then diving even deeper into his cybersecurity background and everything that he had going on even before Quant, diving into ISO TC307, and then understanding, wow, this is the global international standard for building on blockchain. And this guy, Gilbert Verdian, is the man who started it all. Like, it was like a no-brainer. Then when I saw the countries that were tied to it, so now you got the central banks with the Bank of International Settlement and their innovation hub, and then you have the countries by the standard ISO TC307. I'm like, wait a minute, this is truly a big deal. This is truly real at this point in time, crypto to me. And I've kind of sort of got away from calling it crypto, and what I call them now is the distributed ledger technology sector, because technically that's what they are. They are so much more than crypto. And so I tell people, put some respect on these companies' names. Your Quant, your Hedera, even your Zebec, your XRP, your XLM, your XDC, your IOTA, your Cardano, your Matic. Like, these tokens are truly bringing and building out infrastructure for companies, countries, central banks, multinational corporations. So after diving deeper into, Quant, I stumble on Project Rosalind, and I'm like, wait a minute, like, this is an actual project coming out of the Bank of International Settlements, connecting Barclays, MasterCard, Visa, the Bank of Canada, the Bank of the European Central Bank, the Bank of England, and several other key players throughout the course of that project. And it's like, wait a minute, like this is real. This is actually happening right now in real time. But nobody on YouTube was really talking about it because everybody was so hype and meme driven. So that's how I kind of sort of stumbled on. I want to say first I stumbled on, I can't think of his page right now. Is it all? No, not All in Crypto. He came later. I can't think of his name right now, but then that led me to Maximus Crypto. When I finally got to Maximus Crypto's page, and he at this point in time was doing like an hour and 2 hour deep dives into quant, into distributed technologies, and truly just sitting and just soaking in information from Maximus. I learned so much from him. It's insane the amount of wealth and knowledge that's on that guy's page, like hours and hours and hours of knowledge. So truly seeing what quant was and what they were truly building out. And then I started to truly understand what Overledger is. It's not a blockchain. It's a blockchain operating system, the first and only of its kind that connects any network in the world. So not just the traditional blockchain networks, but also the networks of the actual factual banks, central banks, multinational corporations, any network in the world, either existing today or future networks for the future. They have a technology that can do this. And then when I started diving even deeper into it, to know that he's the one that built out the complete and utter Australia's healthcare blockchain. And that's how the ISO, he even got on the ISO's radar to even start the process of ISO TC 307. And it was just this long rabbit hole and journey that now is like almost 3.5, 4 years in. And it's like this year alone, I did a video about it yesterday. This year alone, as far as the developments that Quant has done, I can't even name them all, but even things like the official partnership with Oracle, the official announcement of the ECB and the digital euro, the RLN, and then the tokenized deposits that was just announced like a week and a half ago. You have QuantNet, QuantFlow, Quant Pay Scripts, like all of these huge things, Quant Authorized, all of these huge things that Quant has going on right now that is crazy. So knowing where we are and knowing that there's such a huge part of Web3 and building out the fabric of Web3, truly not hype, not speculation, but true bona fide work. To me, QNT is going to be a huge player in the future of finance and the overall Web3 process, from everything you could possibly think of, from stocks, bonds, securities, money, all of those things. Sorry, my alarm is going off for a second. All of those things, but also including things like digital ID. You know, if you really dive into ISO TC 307, that global standard for building on blockchain, it tackles every piece of the economy in multiple different ways, truly building out a framework for institutions to truly build and grow their businesses, scale their businesses, build digital twins of their businesses in the actual blockchain space, securely, safely, resiliently, coupled by standards and governed by regulations. Like it's crazy. But go ahead, brother.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. So this is why I like to bring other people that are knowledgeable about things that I don't necessarily cover onto the platform. Thank you for that wonderful breakdown, brother. Shout out to my patrons. You know, in the Patreon, I have a monthly stock watch list, a bi-weekly crypto watch list. Now, one of the things you mentioned was Quant being together with Oracle. Shout out to the patrons. You get a stock watch list, one of which might have been on there is Oracle. And Oracle just recently, within the last month or two, shot up in price, right? So maybe that has to do with what's going on with Quant.
Absolutely.
Okay?
One of the things that Oracle announced late last year was the ability to be interoperable with other clouds like Microsoft Azure and all of those things. Guess who's they interconnected between that? Quant. But also this week, or they just announced, I want to say, integrations with Meta and being able to be multi-ledger. And this multi-ledger announcement came out right around the time Quant Overledger 2, no, was it? Because they have so many different products right now. But the launch that just happened this past week on their 10-year anniversary, which was Overledger Fusion 2.5, their multi-ledger roll-up solution. And then Oracle announces having multi-ledger, like that connection right there is kind of crazy. So I could definitely see how that Oracle stock is doing quite well over these past few weeks and months because of all of those integrations that they're able to do now with that backbone of Overledger, Quant Network Software as a Service.
And see, too, when I bring on other creators like this, it just confirms what I researched myself, and that I was looking at this and I was like, it seems like Quant is a central piece for the Bank of England and anything that England wants to do to connect to XRP and the rest of the ledgers. So this just confirms everything that I've seen in my research as well. So let's bring up some articles to talk to here, or talk from. So let's see. I guess we'll bring up first just the background of Gilbert Verdian, which you already kind of showed us or told us. Here. All right, we'll show this tab. This might not be the right tab that we're looking at right now, but I'll shift to it, the right one. Nope, that's not the one I wanted to look at the moment. Okay, here we go. So I was just looking up, I was just like, who is Gilbert Verdian? Channing broke it down, King Channing broke it down for us perfectly, specifically with ISO TC 307, right? And this is a whole ISO standard, which Verdian was a key piece in writing, okay? So I see some comments in the chat there from Delta Go Zero, a frequent watcher. He's not a fan of Quant apparently, but I welcome contrarianism. We can all grow from contrarians, and you know, all of this information will just be something to compare about and to talk about while we continue here. So he doesn't seem to be a fan of Quant because it's on Ethereum. Well, we know Linea's on Ethereum.
Okay, so I'm going to say this.
You want to address that right now?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Just real fast. Okay, so yes, is Quant an ERC20 token? Yes, but Quant is blockchain agnostic, which means it can survive on any blockchain. So at the drop of a hat, whenever it wants to, it could pick up and move to Adara. It could move to XRP. It could move to XLM. It could move to XCC. So don't let it being built on Ethereum shake you out. Not to mention that having that EVM compatibility is major for the institutions right now as they're coming in. Now, will that one day shift maybe off of Ethereum onto some of the other blockchains like a Zebec, like a XRP, XLM? Absolutely. But as the first leg of institutions come in, they are coupling themselves with Ethereum. So by Quant being a ERC20 token and having that EVM capability, it's only positioning them to do fantastic things over the next few years as the Web3 network is built out globally. Okay, so don't let that ERC20 token throw you off. Okay, Quant is an amazing opportunity. It has a very bright future ahead.
And I just like to add to that with Stronghold. Stronghold just made a move to add Ethereum. They had an Ethereum contract, but they just said they're going to do some upgrades and updates. So again, we know Ethereum's connected to Consensus. We know Consensus is connected to JP Morgan. So obviously Quant's going to, or Ethereum's going to be a big piece of what's going on. at least for that bank,
Yes.
right? At least for that.
And also
bank.
understand too that with Overledger Fusion, what that does for Ethereum, it gives it capabilities for scalability. So you have to remember what a map is, which is a multi-chain application that Quant has developed. Meaning I can take the strengths of every blockchain, delete all of the weaknesses of all the blockchains, make a super kind of sort of app, and then you can use that however you see fit in your organization, your business, your country, your government, whatever the case may be. So again, this is why everybody has started announcing EVM capability and connectivity, is because Ethereum, based off of regulation, Ethereum is going to be a big player in this first huge onboarding adoption phase of the institutional Web3 process. Okay.
Delta Ghost, I guess apparently can't handle it. He's out. But thanks for coming, Delta Ghost. You know, I'd like to have conversations with contrarians. I think nothing was below the belt or nothing was out of line. But you know, I guess he can't handle it or whatever. But thank you, Delta Ghost. You know you're always welcome on this channel, and you know I appreciate contrarianism or an opposite viewpoint. I think we all grow when people answer those questions. Like
Absolutely.
we do.
Absolutely.
We all grow when people answer those questions. So so what to Channing's points, like you see Stronghold doing it, they're still sticking with Stellar, but they're adding that upgrade to Ethereum. We had the whole announcement with Swift and Linea happening.
Hedera just did it as well.
Ethereum,
Hedera just announced
Hedera did too?
EVM capability. Yeah, they all are doing it because they're getting
There
in
we go.
alignment for the institutions.
So I mean, that it all seems like to me to be the plan and the plot there. Of course, there that could be somewhat of a misdirection. Maybe it's still just Stellar and XRP, but they have capability for both. So you can't ignore it. They have capability for both. You know, and as investors, I'm invested in, you know, Stronghold. I'm invested in Quant. I'm invested in Hedera. I'm invested in all of them, so I'm covered, right?
That's right. Diversification, brother.
There we go. Let's be
Absolutely
diverse in our assets. We're not trying to be maxis of anything.
Absolutely.
Because you know, what if that's not chosen? What if that's not picked?
Yep.
So so either way, I think we're good here on this channel as far as that goes. Am I breaking up? Let me know, guys. See, Jose De La Torre says I'm breaking up. Let me know, guys, if it's breaking up for you as well. Okay. Okay, so let's see here. Let's continue on with this one here.
Yeah.
So TC 307 here. One of the things I like to point out is it's saying that interoperability was basically chaired by Gilbert Verdian. So that goes more into the point of what Channing was saying.
Right.
If you're just seeing Quant as this Ethereum token, you're missing the point. It's interoperable.
And know that this is slightly wrong. The interoperability is actually working group 7, not 6, for anybody who wants to do research on that. And I believe it's 8 working groups and not 7, if that makes sense. As far as the ISO TC 307 is concerned.
Perfect. And now we're also seeing how AI can be slightly off.
Yes, but for the most part, everything else is correct, and it is capturing everything that ISO TC 307 is building out.
Okay, there we go. So so now I kind of wanted to make some connections to Zebec here and Quant. And one of the things that Channing just mentioned, I kind of want to also hit on, and we'll go to that here, where UK banks hail the regulated liability network experiments. So they're already conducting experiments on this, and this was from September 24th. On the 17th of September of 2024. So they're already working on, and as Channing kind of told us, some of the banks here, Barclays, Citi, HSBC, Lloyds, MasterCard, NatWest, Nationwide, Santander, Standard Chartered, Virgin Money, and Visa all took part in this experimentation phase. Okay.
And that was spearheaded by UK Finance, who also integrated Quant before the RLN, that 2024 announcement. Quant had already been integrated into the UK finance system.
That's the one.
So that was a partnership that was announced maybe about a year before the RLN actually went live.
Okay, is it terrible audio for both of us? Okay, let me see. Let me lower my gain here. All right. It might be harder for Channing to hear me now.
That's good right there.
Okay. How about now, guys? Let me know if the audio is better now. Which it must have just happened all of a sudden, because there was no complaints about audio in the beginning. So let me know if it's better now. Okay, so while I'm watching to see if it's better, we're gonna move on. A little bit better sounds like a loose wire. Okay, let me see here. All right, I'm checking my wires.
Mic check. How do I sound? I can't see the comments, so I should probably go live on YouTube so I can see the comments. Let's see. Pull it up on YouTube real fast. It's just turn it down so it don't. Okay, pull my phone up here so I can actually see the comments coming in. Hey, Sebastian. OG Crypto. Victory V. Oh man, yeah, a lot of comments come through already. My goodness. OG Crypto, has the sound got better? Okay, somebody said I'm okay. Okay, they said I'm okay, but it's rude. Okay. I'm just getting caught up on all the comments. Okay, thanks for that solution. And RLN lowers the work significantly. Absolutely. While Rue is waiting, I'm just going to comment on just a few of the comments. Sebastian, if you're still there, what you just said, absolutely. That Quant does connect all the banks in the UK, and the RLN does significantly lower the tech stack they have to put into their actual back end processes. What that is what Overledger does. Overledger makes it seamless from integrating blockchain to the deployment of blockchain into the live environment of their actual businesses, banks, things of that nature. So I believe they said it could be done depending on the size of the corporation or whatever within a matter of weeks to a few months. And remember, that's adding that with 0 lines of code in most cases with most of the developer hubs, but as little as 3 lines of code, depending on which developer hub that they're going with, whether that's Make or Zapier or Whippy or Pipe Dreams or any of the developer hubs that have integrated Overledger into their backend system for their customers. So 1000% correct, Sebastian. About 95%. Another one. He said ISO TC 307 has been adopted by 95% of the developed countries. Absolutely correct. Once again, 50 plus countries, almost 60 countries at this point in time. All the big boys are at the table building out infrastructure for Web3 processes in their jurisdictions. So true. Sebastian was hitting this thing up. Let me see. 6 months sounds a bit. Try to talk again and see if they can hear you better, brother. Now I can hear you at all. Wow, 50 plus. Yes, OG crypto. Yes, 50 plus countries have already adopted and adhered to the standard. If any of you have the time, go to Google and type in ISO TC 307. Go to the actual ISO site. It has like a little red emblem. It shows you all of the countries that have already adopted the blockchain and distributed ledger technology standard. I believe it's 43 participating in like an additional 20 something observing countries. Their list is quite extensive and it's mind blowing because it's everybody. It's America, it's China, it's India, it's Russia, it's Japan. The list goes on and on and on and on. It truly is about 95% of the developed countries. Where you say we still can't hear you, but okay. I think he's working on it. Can't hear you, Rue. Okay, yeah. Rue is working on his audio as we speak.
Okay, I think I got it now. How about now?
Yes, I can hear you now. You guys, can you hear Rue? Sebastian just said that
I think I need to replace my aux cord, so we'll just have to deal with these headphones for now.
Okay.
And my aux cord is, it just needs to be replaced.
And I believe they can hear you now too, brother.
All right, awesome.
They said much better.
So yeah, that's my aux cord needs to be replaced. You know, my $300 headphones, but then my $10 aux wire needs to be replaced. So that's just how it is here. So all right, thank you guys though. Thank you guys because I want to have the best sound for you guys, and thanks for pitching in there, Channing, and not leaving any dead space, brother.
Not a problem at all. It take a village.
That's right. It definitely does, bro. All right, awesome. So right there we were with the RLN. And I was looking at the RLN here, and I was saying basically Max is like the RLN is pretty much Quant.
No, exactly. The infrastructure is the programmability. It's the APIs that they all are using. It's the scalability. It literally is it's the interoperability. It truly is. If you look at, I want to say which commercial was that? I believe it was the Overledger launch, but basically they say once you're taking on their APIs and taking on Overledger, truly they're building it all out for you, and it's plug and play technology. And that's what those banks are doing, and the Bank of England as well. They're tapping directly into Overledger, which is plug and play technology. And they're seamlessly be able to integrate it into their back-end infrastructure, which allows them to tap directly into Web3 blockchain with, like I said, 0 lines of code or up to 3 lines of code, depending on which developer hubs that they're using.
Yeah. So perfect. And this is I got this from Smoke. Shout out to Smoke. He does some of the greatest content on Twitter, X. If you guys aren't subscribed to him, you should be. And here's kind of a breakdown of what Channing is talking about here. It says Overledger, an enterprise operating system that can interconnect blockchains, enterprise platforms, and networks. Interoperable, can connect any network to any network without overhead or limits. Hyper decentralized applications that run and store data on multiple blockchains. And then it has the Overledger as the highest, most layer here. And then underneath this layer, they have enterprise permission blockchains, public permissionless blockchains, and other blockchains. So notable in the enterprise permission blockchains, we got Ripple, we got Corda, we got Hyperledger, Ethereum, JP Morgan's Quorum.
JP Morgan.
Yep. And then public permissionless blockchains, we got Bitcoin, Stellar, Ethereum, IOTA, EOS. And other blockchains, we got Binance, Neo, Cosmos, Polkadot, and AION. So this kind of breaks it down a little bit here in a diagram, which is easy to kind of see. And there's another one here that Smoke has.
You can think of Overledger as just that, the Overledger. It's the thing that lays on top of the traditional internet of today, the IBM and Microsoft's code, and every blockchain that exists, and seamlessly connects all of them together with this Overledger that allows them to seamlessly send data and whatever else they're doing, as far as whether it's public, private, permission, whatever the case may be, either within their silo or outside of their silo to any other network in the world, truly in the world. And you've had some of the most brilliant minds in the world working on this for almost a decade. That's the part that most people fail to realize in crypto, especially because a lot of us are just getting in within that past, let's just say, OG 7 years, because a lot of people don't really go back to the inception of Bitcoin, and to more recent COVID and beyond, and to know that Quant Network has been working on ISO TC 307 literally as of next year for a decade. That is major, because that's years long before most people even knew what Web3, blockchain, or crypto even was.
Yes, indeed. So here we have a diagram, or here we have some more Grok information, because I was looking at Hyperledger, and people have said connected Hyperledger to Quant as well. And
yes,
this is what Grok is saying here. It says, Quant's Overledger serves as an API gateway that directly supports Hyperledger frameworks, enabling multi-chain applications and apps, and key integrations include those. So anything to add there, brother?
Just know that if you're not familiar with what Hyperledger is, they're actually one of the biggest enterprise blockchains that there is. If you look at all of the companies that integrate into Hyperledger, it's mind-blowing. But yes, and if I'm not mistaken, one of Maximus' favorite things to say is, and Hyperledger does not have its own token. So indirectly, QNT is Hyperledger's token. Understand what that means for enterprise and the integration of enterprise into this space and what's being utilized for them to do what they're doing with Hyperledger.
Yeah, and what Grok is saying here kind of just backs that up. Quant's Overledger positions Hyperledger as a plug-and-play component in universal distributed ledger gateways, accessing interoperability challenges noted in Hyperledger's own publications. This is evident in sandbox environments for smart cities with Constellation's Hypergraph and supply chain platforms like Crowds using Overledger's Hyperledger, Corda, and EOS.
Absolutely. People don't understand how big of a deal Overledger is, because that people, when they think of Quant, they think of CBDCs, but they really don't understand that they're so much bigger than CBDCs. If you want to go down the route of money, there's CBDCs, there's stable coins, they're e-money, they're tokenized deposits, they're cash. They're literally the settlement layer for any form of money. But then even on top of that, they are literally the foundation of anything that is possible to be built on blockchain. And I mean anything is interconnected and has the capabilities to be interoperable with Quant Network's technology. That is the reason why the big boys and countries, central banks and multinational corporations and commercial banks are now coupling themselves with it publicly.
Now, if you guys aren't familiar, like I'm a coder. If you guys don't know what API is, it's like application program interface. But the easiest way to think of an API is a block of code that does stuff. So if I was coding an API for a record player, I would make a function, that plays it, stops it, fast forwards it, and rewinds it, So now if you think about Quant as being this kind of
universal API.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then you can put in functions for anything.
anything,
any network, any blockchain, any money, any stable coin, period.
any use
do
case.
Whatever.
Exactly. You can build your company's digital twin, your supply chain, like anything you could possibly think of that APIs can be integrated into. Quant Networks Overledger gives it interoperability.
Right. So then you can do anything with it pretty much. And if you imagine money being that programmable, it's scary and very cool at the same time.
Absolutely. And then also understand with Quant Networks technology that it is patented almost at this point in time globally. And some of those patents don't expire until like 2035, 2045, just depending on which country it is. And I'm talking patents in huge places like China, America. They got America's patent, I want to say in 2023 or 2024. Like we're talking Russia, like they have patents everywhere. And to truly see what they are building out and then know that parts of their tech stack is open source, which means anybody can connect to it, but then certain parts of it is patented, which means even though it's open source, you can build if you want to build, but to go through this gateway, which everyone will need to do, you'll have to utilize my patent technology and tap into QNT to do so.
And then if you really think about the internet of value, like anything valuable, you can kind of program into the money.
Absolutely.
More or less. So let's hit one other thing here. So now I was trying to make the connection to Zebec. And the biggest connection to Zebec for me and Quant was Deutsche Bank. Okay. Now, one of the things that came up with Grok here was Quant Network, a blockchain interoperability platform, in Deutsche Bank, one of Europe's largest financial institutions, share indirect but notable connections through shared industry consortia, regulatory initiatives, and overlapping partnerships in blockchain and digital finance space. While there are publicly no documented direct connections between Quant and Deutsche Bank as of October 25th, their ties stem from collaborative ecosystems focused on enterprise blockchain adoption, CBDCs, and tokenization. These links position both entities in broader push for interoperable digital infrastructure and finance. So one of the biggest ones they mentioned was SIA. Where is that at here? So here it is. Quant partnered with SIA, a major European payment infrastructure provider serving over 570 financial institutions across 50 countries, to integrate Overledger with SIA Chain. This enables cross-platform DLT apps for banks. Deutsche Bank is a key SIA client using its networks for payment, settlements, and creating indirect bridge for Quant's tech to reach database operations. So do you have any more information on Quant and SIA, brother?
Yeah, so diving into just that whole region of the world. So not just SIA, but also with SEPA, which stands for Single Euro Payments Area, and the ECB. I'm just going to lump all of it together. So know that Quant was announced as a partner of the ECB's Digital Euro pilot project. Okay, they are one of the pioneering partners of that, right? But also SIA is and have been for a few years now, a open partner of Quant, tapping into Overledger for interoperability, building out the network and framework for the payment processes of Europe. But also Nexi Group, which is also a part of that. They are also partnered with Nexi in that same facet, building out infrastructure within all of Nexi banks, firms, and everything else that Nexi is also a part of. This whole coalition in the European diaspora of all 27 countries literally have been being worked on and built out now for, at least that I know of, 4 years strong. Because even before Christine Lagarde took over as the ECB's president, the I want to say Fabio Panetta, whoever the gentleman was before her, had already started the digitization and the CBDC and the digital euro process. She just picked up the ball where he left it and started running down the field like nobody's business. So to be at the point now where we're in October and they're supposed to be live and they're supposed to be going live with the digital euro in this October. So yes, that whole consortium between Nexi, SIA, and the Central Bank of Europe and all of the other banks like Banque de France and anybody else that's tied into the euro have all been coupled with Quant and working with Quant, building out back-end infrastructure for their banking processes for their commercial banks and central banks throughout the countries of Europe, because their goal is, like I said, SEPA, which is Single Euro Payments Area, which is bringing all of them under one umbrella so that the fragmentation of the European diaspora is no longer a thing.
Okay, so when you guys really think of Quant, really think about like a key piece of the European Central Bank, okay? European and mainly to England, right? So very, very, very key there, right? And then making that connection, right, to the Deutsche Bank and SIA, that now gets us back to Zebec, because now we're there with what Zebec just announced with, where do I have that at? So yeah, so yes, Deutsche Bank through its asset management DWS and the joint venture All Utility has partnered with Zebec Network to integrate the Euro AU, which this EUR and AU is the chemical, like the periodic table for gold. So it's very interesting that they chose to put this together, Euro AU. So Euro AU, a MiCA compliant Euro stablecoin for real-time global payroll solutions, announced in September 25. This collaboration positions Zebec as All Unity's preferred global, and it says for preferred global in the one that Zebec has put on their Twitter. So I'm going to add global here. Preferred global payroll provider, enabling seamless, instant wage payments and stablecoins across borders, particularly targeting private and enterprise clients in Europe and beyond. This isn't a direct Deutsche Bank Zebec tie, but it flows through All Unity, which includes Deutsche Bank's DWS alongside partners like Galaxy Digital and Flow Traders. Okay, so there we have a direct connection to, or indirect, as they say it, to Deutsche Bank and Zebec, right? And then we just did Deutsche Bank to Quant. So essentially what these would do would be to directly connect to the central banks these stable coins. Zebec's role in that is being the on and off ramp through payroll and then through Zebec cards, and Quant's role in that is connecting all the different central banks in this Overledger. Would that be a fair assessment, brother?
Yes, and what I was getting ready to say is, think of it like this. Any blockchain is going to touch Quant in some way based off of ISO TC 307, the standard, because any regulated entity is going to tap into the standard so that it is regulatory compliant. Okay, so let's just say with that bank that you were just talking about, and you said that it was MiCA compliant. Well, one of those things, just like Genius Act, where these stablecoins have to be backed 1-to-1 by something tangible, and it may be gold based off of that periodic table that you just said, or it could be the treasury, or it could be cash, right? So think of it like this. So you have the central bank that have interoperable APIs that they're filtering down to the commercial banks. The commercial banks building on blockchain, something like a whoever, then tapping into the companies that are utilizing Zebec in their payroll processes. There's like a trickle down effect, but all things trickle up to Overledger, Quant Network Software as a Service. And to know that, I want to say Zebec has done lots of things with payroll globally in lots of different ways, lots of different companies, and understanding that that's almost bringing it down almost to the level of you and I, because that's tapping directly into the patrons of that country because we're the ones that receive paychecks, if that makes sense. And then you take it up to the next level where Zebec, we're working with that bank who's working with the central bank who's overledgered by Quant.
Exactly. And in this way, everything's connected to the central bank.
Absolutely.
It's not like with cash where, the cash has a serial number, but it's not directly connected to the central bank.
Yeah. That's why when people say stable coins or CBDCs, y'all understand they're both one and the same. The only difference is one is issued by a private company and the other one is issued by the central bank. But as far as these regulations like MiCA and Genius Act, the regulation that came out of Japan, Qatar, and a lot of other countries that I brought you guys, the regulation is being laid. So no matter if it's coming from Ripple or if it's coming from Circle or if it's coming from the Bank of England, they're all tying directly into the standard and they're being regulatory compliant by whatever the laws that have been signed upon within the jurisdictions and borders. So they all will tap into the standard, like all of them. Because they're going to want to be able to interoperate and do business like they do right now currently today.
And that is a good distinction. And here I'll definitely give you guys Shannon's information here. Let's go. You can follow him on X. Let me bring it up right now. Here's Channing right here on X. And then let's bring up Channing's YouTube.
Any likes, any comments, any subs are greatly appreciated. Any follows are greatly appreciated. I try to always tap back into anyone who's a part of the community that reach out. I appreciate all of you. I truly, truly do.
So definitely go over there and give King Channing a like and subscribe here.
And as you can see, my very last video, I just tackled ISO TC 307.
There we go. So definitely come over here and give King Channing a like and subscribe here. And let me see if I can put it in the chat. They should allow me to do that as a host. And
while you're doing that, I'm just going to look at a comment from Victory V. He just brought up LackChain. So under what LackChain is 12 countries in Central and South America for the past almost 2 years now, building out their digital processes as far as the banking structure, stable coins or CBDCs, no matter what they're going to have in that particular region. And Quant Network is providing the critical backend infrastructure via Overledger and interoperability via Overledger, programmability via Overledger, and those APIs that we were just talking about to those 12 countries building out their processes. I actually had someone make a comment on one of my videos who live in one of the regions who said that they are already right now today using Overledger every single day because they're tapped into exactly. Like, so what Quant has been doing is they have been piecing, it's almost like a puzzle. And by some point in time within the next few years, the puzzle will be complete. But they've been putting pieces together. First, I believe they started with like SIA and I think it was like Bank of Italiano or one of those banks over there. It was like digital infrastructure in Italy that they started with. And then they moved into LackChain. And then they moved into Rosalind with the Bank of International Settlements. But then we've also tied them to things like Mbridge, which was the whole Asian region with central banks building out tokenizing. And we tied them to Project Agora, which are multiple central banks throughout the world. Things like the Bank of Mexico, I want to say the Swiss National Bank, the Bank of England, Banque de France is a part of them. There's a couple of them building out tokenizing central bank money. Then they have 42 commercial banks come together, tokenize the commercial bank money, and interoperate with each other. That was Project Agora. But then we have Project Meridian, which was them tokenizing and digitizing the real-time gross settlement systems of the countries. And Quant has been a part of all of these things. That's the reason why when they finally released QuantNet about 2 weeks ago, one of the things they said they can tap directly into and interoperate with, which are the country's real-time gross settlement systems. All of these things are playing a major part in bringing Web3 into a major reality and things like a blockchain, which has been live and operational. It was actually one of the videos that I did with Maximus. The way that the powers that be described blockchain was the blueprint, which means that they have been building this out for 2 years now, this infrastructure, ensuring that it's safe, ensuring that it's resilient, and ensuring that it's future-proof, so that the rest of the rollouts around the world will be seamless, because they'll just take their blueprint and just build whatever they built there directly to the next space. Not to mention that Gilbert Verdian was on a panel with Visa. I want to say it was the Bank of Canada. It was MIT. And Gilbert literally said in that interview that blockchain is being built out so that they can connect it directly up to the US. And they're using a dollar that is pegged to the value of the American dollar. So it's no coincidence now that we now have the Genius Act, which is their legislation here in America. And if you dive into the Genius Act, you'll see they talk about programmability and they talk about interoperability. And then understand that that is all a part of a global standard that they're all getting in alignment with, so they can build out regulations so they can do seamless integrations in business with each other like they do right now today.
Perfect. See, so this is great information, guys, and this is all the things like. So Quant is on that level with it. They're on the central bank type of level with it. Zebec, when we're talking Zebec, this is the piece that's going to connect into retail, and they
exactly the businesses and the commercial banks,
and they need that retail value. So
absolutely,
so we're coming at it from two different areas, but it's important to understand it all. And when you truly understand that, you understand this is an inevitability. This is not something that's like, oh no, it may not happen. This is necessary for the banks. They must have it. Okay? This is what we're invested in right now. Something that must happen. Okay? I know it's been told to you like cryptocurrency is this, that, and the other thing, but this is something that must happen for banks.
Yes, the head of the IMF, I believe it's Georgiana, I can't think of her name right now, but they just did a whole panel. Circle was on the panel, the World Bank was on the panel, she was on the panel, and what she just said, no less than a week ago, she just said that all fiat currencies around the world is going digital. Either get on board or be left behind. Literally is what she said. All fiat currency is going digital. Understand what that means when you have somebody like the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, the head of that, letting the world know that we're moving digital, blockchain, the tokenization, stable coins, CBDCs. Like Rue just said, it is an inevitability. It is going to happen whether you want it to happen or not. Because at this point in time, they're now codifying law. And when something is a law, everyone that falls within the jurisdiction of those borders have to adhere to that law.
Okay, somebody said super chats are broken. I don't know, that's weird. But yeah, so let's bring up something right quick here. Another piece I wanted you guys to see. Okay, this is another smoke one. He just says, Quant Overledger platform presentation casually highlighting interoperability with digital currencies like XRP. And if you guys can kind of see this from the breakdown, it's the interchange transaction with a certain transaction services coming through Overledger and connecting to the central bank, like we were saying. And then we also have Ripple's logo and Ethereum's logo, digital currencies and stablecoins, agency bank, and then Pay
So
UK.
funny thing, I just did a whole video about Pay UK and Quant. So Quant is a company guarantor or guarantor for Pay UK. And to understand what Pay UK is, it is the UK's settlement layer. So it's just like the DTCC. So the DTCC for America is America's settlement layer. That stands for the Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation. They settle $11 trillion a day and almost $4 quadrillion last year. That's 15 zeros, you guys. That's an insane amount of money. And to know that Quant has now partnered itself with the UK version of that, which ties in all of the other settlement systems together in the UK, and they fall up under the umbrella of Pay PayUK, which is the settlement layer of the actual entire country. And that's mind-blowing to know that.
That's amazing. So PayUK is basically UK's version
Absolutely
of
correct.
BTCC.
I just did a whole video about that as well.
Guys. All right. So where's that video so people can know to go to it? Oh, I see it right here. Let's bring it up. So here it is right here, guys.
Yep,
right?
That's correct. Absolutely correct.
So definitely check that out if you want to know about the UK's version of the DTCC. All right. Let's see here. So this quant flow. So there's two that I wanted you to try to break down for the guys. Quant flow and then the pay script. Because the pay script
it's almost Zebec vibes. Does that make sense? The pay script is exactly what it is. It is the retail payment structure. Does that make sense? Because I try to tell people all the time, no one player is going to have 100% of any market. There's going to be fragmentation of those markets. That's the reason why HBAR and XRP and XLM and XDC, they all have a lane and they all will do things just like Zebec. They will have a lane and they won't have 100% of payments globally, but they'll have a huge market based off of the partnerships that they're cultivating, right? Well, Quant Network has also built out Quant Pay Scripts, which essentially is that payment infrastructure for paychecks to be built out. So that's what that part of it is. And what Quant Flow is, it is the connection of the actual companies build out their back-end infrastructure without having to overhaul everything, hire new developers, hire new back-end framework or software. Is literally a plug and play. So by typing into Overledger, you now have access to this whole suite of products, whether that's Quant Authorized, whether that's Quant Net, whether that's Quant Flow, Quant Pay Scripts, Overledger Fusion 2.5, with all of these different products tied directly into Overledger. So depending on what your use case is for your business, you'll tap into the product that best fits your needs.
Perfect. And we have no way of knowing there could be some Zebec behind the scenes.
No, absolutely. The interconnectedness of this whole, like that is Quant's mission. Quant's mission is not to make anybody a siloed anything. Quant's mission is to bring everybody together so that they can all succeed as one joint global internet of value, internet of trust being built out. So absolutely.
So awesome, guys. Let me see here. One thing I want to bring back up, I know it's a stronghold video, but I want to play it because it kind of shows how everything is going to be interconnected. This is Tammy Camp, guys. Patreon people, you got to see this first. So I don't feel like I'm shortchanging you guys at all. But Patreon people, you got to see this first. Let me bring this video up for you guys here. Just be a second here. Okay, we want to hear Tammy Camp speak here. And we want to go back just a little bit. It's going to be hard to hear. The audio is terrible on the video here, but I'll put on the captions. And then King Channing and I can speak to it after this.
In all these countries, because different countries have different attitudes towards cryptocurrency and the usage of blockchain. And some places associate blockchain with, bad actors, money laundering. So you have to really work hard to talk.
Okay, we're going to wait till Tammy Camp speaks. She'll be speaking here within like 20 seconds, 25 seconds.
With policymakers and dispel illusions or, bad associations associated with blockchain.
So like I mentioned before, we are building out an asset management platform. We're actually just starting with crypto. I actually see a future in 10 years where, all of the, where clearing firms don't exist for stocks and bonds. And that's
So she said, we're starting with crypto. I actually see a future where clearing firms don't exist for stocks and bonds. Let's continue.
kind of like where we're headed. So on a day-to-day basis, right now, we're building out the retail side because we have to have retail customers and liquidity. So,
We're building out the retail side because we have to have retail customers and liquidity. This is like the Zebec side of things.
you have value for the institutional investors.
So that you can have value for the institutional investors.
And what's so powerful about what we're building is because we're built on Stellar. Because we are a financial institution on Stellar, it actually gives us a unique opportunity to to add more value to the users in a way that hasn't been done before. Meaning, if you look at all of the website data, like on SimilarWeb, of all of these other exchanges, if you will, so Bittrex or Bitcoin, Coinbase or Poloniex, you only see that the U.S. is like 7 to maybe 11% of the market. And if you look further at that data, there's a huge communities in South Korea and Hong Kong and China and Japan, in Brazil and Argentina and Ukraine and Russia.
So this is from 4 years ago. I don't know if this is still current as far as what she just said, but she said you look at the market, the U.S. is only like 7 to 11%, whereas you look at all these other countries, China, South Korea, Japan, Russia, Argentina, there's a lot more value there. I don't know if that's still current with this current blockchain world, but I'll go back and have her say that again.
To add more value to the users in a way that hasn't been done before. Meaning, if you look at all of the website data, like on SimilarWeb, of all of these other exchanges, if you will, so Bittrex or Bitcoin, Coinbase or Poloniex, you only see that the U.S. is like 7 to maybe 11% of the market. And if you look further at that data, there's a huge communities in South Korea and Hong Kong and China and Japan, in Brazil and Argentina and Ukraine and Russia. So what makes what we're building so powerful is that we actually enable those people to cash out into their own fiat currency in a regulatory compliant way because we're on a distributed ledger. And I think that that's what's going to be super powerful in the wave of the next generation in terms of trading platforms, if you will, and just like the transfer of value.
So basically she said because of the distributed ledger, entities, communities can just cash out in their own fiat. Doesn't matter. And they can do that because of the distributed ledger. This kind of all builds on what Channing was talking about there with the Overledger and how it's kind of Overledger of all of these central banks. Now you can allow all these different stable coins, which we know Zebec has plenty of these stable coins in its that it can interoperate with. But now any one of those stable coins, you could have USD and then you can transfer out to Japanese coin. Then you can transfer out to yen, or you could transfer out to a euro or a British pound, anything. And it all has direct connection back to the central bank.
And it's because of something like Project Meridian, which were the real-time gross settlement systems of countries interoperating with each other so that they can seamlessly send a euro to, let's just say a yen, and then send a yen to a dollar, and then send a dollar, let's just say, to a peso, or whatever the case may be. Is because they've already built out that back-end infrastructure for those real-time gross settlement systems to speak to each other so that the blockchains that sit up under those jurisdictions can seamlessly integrate any currency within the liquidity that they need to be in and out of.
Perfect. Now, so understanding all of that, guys, look at the opportunity in front of us with Quant at $82, right? Look at the opportunity in front of us with Zebec under a cent, with Hedera under 20 cents, right? It's a great opportunity, right? I did a video how the American dream is now $5 million. Like guys, look at the opportunity in front of us, right? Do you want to be the one that's caught out without this opportunity? Like, I don't see any other area where you're going to get that much gain.
I tell everybody, do not be the me in the situation. I was spending some time with my friend in California. I want to say that was 2016. And he was telling me about Bitcoin. And me not having the financial literacy that I have right now, I didn't act on the opportunity of what Bitcoin was, because I just really didn't understand investing. I didn't understand what Bitcoin was or what crypto was. So I was like hands off applesauce. Yeah, I'm good on that. I wish I had listened. I wish I had been in a point in time where I was at a point to retain and receive the information that was being given to me. That's the reason why now that we're at the point of the institutional layer of crypto being laid out and then birthed, this is the time to do it right now. 2025, going into 2026, 2027, these next 16 to 24 months is getting ready to be so transformable because so many things that they have been working on in the background is going live, you guys. No longer private permission blockchains. We're talking public ledgers, public blockchains, using things like people's payroll. I try to tell people all the time here in America with the Genius Act, that is now law. Understand that within the next 24 months, it is a very strong possibility that you will be receiving your paycheck in a stable coin. And a player like Zebec will be making that thing a reality. Truly see what's happening right now because they have codified law. It's not here in America. It's not an executive order that can just be overturned with the next administration. We have both sides of the aisle come together for the first time in 7 years, put together comprehensive stablecoin legislation for the rest of the country to start using it. Wyoming was the first state in the union to actually adopt stablecoin. And their stablecoin is called Frontier Token. And one of the blockchains that is being built out on is Hedera. And now let's take it back to the central bank level with Hedera. Also, the Central Bank of Australia is also now testing not just CBDCs on top of Hedera, but also the tokenization of assets and securities on top of Hedera as well. These processes are being built out globally, you guys. This is not hype. This is not speculation. It is the largest entities in the world now publicly coming out in press conferences and press releases now saying we're using these entities. Like I want to say it is Dubai just came out and said that they're using Hedera for their digital ID process. Not just the digital ID for the physical people in the country, but also the digital ID of the different things through the Internet of Things and smart cities. Also know with digital ID, the UK just announced that it is now, which I think is mind-blowing, mandatory for everyone who works and for housing. It is now a requirement by the end of 2025 for them all to have a digital ID. And understand that all ties into Quant Network and Overledger and ISO TC307. Because if you go back to that slide that you had up earlier, you'll see a part of ISO TC307, those working groups, it tackles identity and governance. Truly see what ISO TC 307 is and what Quant Network is facilitating on a global scale to ensure that every player, every legitimate player in Web3 succeeds moving forward, coming out of 2025, going into 2026, which is the year of deployment, the year of the first leg of adoption into this space.
So yeah, it's perfect, guys. Yeah, this is exactly what I wanted you guys to get about Quant, and this is exactly what I wanted you guys to understand here. Let's go into our questions here now. It's the part of the show where we like to acknowledge the audience and get into some of the questions you guys have. Let's see here. Quite a lot of questions. Let's go. Okay, we'll just start from the top. Hi, Channing. What a nice surprise from Victory V. Let's see here. Shout out to Crypto Crossroads Show, another collaborator we had on the channel. Shout out to you, Crypto Crossroads Show. If you guys go to my channel, you'll see Crypto Crossroads Show and others. I need to add Channing to that list as well of collaborators we recommend you guys to go to. Let me pull that up right quick.
Hey, Crypto Crossroads Show. How's it going, brother?
So if you go to my home page and then you scroll down, you'll have Underdog Research Channel, Trick Focus Digital, Maximus, Mooniverse, Gentlemen of Crypto, Crypto Future here, Ronin Experience, and Crypto Crossroads Show, guys. So definitely go check out Crypto Crossroads Show. Oh, my sharing got messed up here. Let me go back to that. Share screen. Boom, 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 boom. Here we go. All right. For real this time. Underdog Research Channel, Shook Focus Digital, Maximus Crypto, The Mooniverse, Gentlemen of Crypto, NYC Odd App, Simon Family Investment, Benzinga, One-on-One Media, Crypto Future, and the Crypto Crossroads Show. Definitely check these creators out if you haven't already, guys. Victory V Channing is the king of quant info. Let's go.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Magic Hut, what's up, Root Crew? We can always count on you for alpha. Thanks.
Most definitely. This is where I get all my Zebec information from.
I appreciate it, brother.
Between you and Maximus is the reason why I actually started investing in Zebec.
Wow, bro. Let's go. Big time coming. Gerald Draper, let's go. Leo Star 7, two of my favorite brothers. Appreciate it.
Most definitely.
Gerald Draper, Quant, let's go. Ty Trong, what's up, Rue? Delta Ghost, XRP, XLM, XDC, Zebec.
All great projects with bright futures.
Nice, brother, man. What's up, Dave F? Man, that's a good list. Definitely expand that portfolio. These are literal layers to crypto and multiple winners within.
Absolutely.
XRP is for settlement. HBAR, you can argue, is for tokenization.
I agree.
Let's see here. Jonathan Abraham, XLM drives P2P. Zebec is one of the DPN winners. But dive into the oracles, dive into storage, dive into real world asset developers as well. Let's see here. What's up, Rude Boy? Let's see. What up, Blackrue Crew, Crypto Future, and Crypto Otaku? Send their regards from Jake the Snake. I will be on Future's channel a little bit later on today, guys, so definitely check that out. It's good that like we got this nice community going together. Everybody's
Absolutely.
collaborating. Crypto Crossroads, Should Focus, Crypto Future, Maximus Crypto. We keep you guys and only the authentic researchers around here. I appreciate every single one of those brothers.
It's almost like an Overledger connection. Literally bringing in the YouTubers of value, the utility YouTubers, people that's really talking about not meme tokens, not hype stuff, but actually real world deployment of Web3 processes. It's an interconnected web of the YouTubers going on right now.
The YouTubers of value. If you don't hop on that shirt, brother, I'm gonna have to put that shirt out. The YouTubers of value. I love it. Let's see here. What's good? EE is our moderator in Telegram. What was good? I'm at work, but I'm here. Let's see here. Sebastian, utility crypto bull. It's blockchain agnostic. Shout out to Sebastian.
Yes. Sebastian, Maximus Crypto, myself, Jesse, Apex Crypto. We all do Quant. We haven't done one in a while, Sebastian. But I believe it's on Tuesdays or Wednesdays over on X. We have X Spaces tackling Quant. So you guys be looking out for those because I'm sure we'll be ramping those up again soon as more of the market starts to heat back up.
So definitely check those out, guys. Sebastian, Jesse, Max, and King Channing on an X Spaces on Tuesdays. Definitely hit those up. I think I'm usually at work, but I see y'all guys in there, and I'm like, dang, I wish I could listen. But definitely check that out, guys, at work while you're working. Maybe you can throw it on.
Yep.
Let's see.
Put in your headphones.
It's
always a good time.
There you go. Thank you for that explanation, Channing. OG
Not
Crypto. Let's see. Shout out to the Riviera Group. Long time Patreon supporter. We just did our open mic night last night, guys. We were talking about Zebec. We even got into some social issues. Hey, open mic night, everything goes.
But brother, you have to realize the social issues are tying directly into this integration and shift to Web3. That is the reason why we're having so many geopolitical things going on, because what most people don't realize is the world's reserve currency status is up for grabs. And the next world reserve currency will be a digital currency. And that is the reason why we're having all these geopolitical things, and you're having all of these, won't even get into all the infighting amongst the countries. And a huge part of it is because of the development and build out of Web3 and countries not wanting to lose their currency in the sweep up of this whole thing.
There we go. And thank you to OG Crypto. We got the sound worked out. What's up, Kimberly Fry? What's up, Phantom Beat? Let's keep going. Okay, I'm going to read this comment. I'm not sure that I understand exactly what he's saying, but he says, I don't understand how people are still blockchain loyalists when the entire system is set up for them to work together based on the problem they solve.
Oh, basically he's saying, no, why are people maxis? Why? It's just Bitcoin. It's just Ethereum. It's just this. No, it's everybody.
Right.
It's everybody coming together, working on this.
I agree too. It's all a part of okay, gotcha. Yeah. So yeah, I don't understand why people would be one blockchain loyalist either. It seems like to me it's like you're cutting yourself off. It's just like if someone's like, to me, this is social, but this is just my personal opinion. If you're like racist, right? You're cutting yourself off from a whole group of people. Like, it's your loss that you're cutting yourself off from that whole group of people, because now you can't learn from them. They have whole different experiences than you. They might be able to teach you something or learn you something. So you're cutting yourself off from a whole nother group of projects that solve a whole nother set of problems. Why wouldn't you want to do that? We see it every day with ETFs. Most ETFs, they can have up to like 25 projects or more in them. They're diversified. Why wouldn't you be?
Exactly. Think of it like this. If you're hungry and you pass a banana tree, are you going to take just one banana? No, you might take multiple. You're not going to be like, well, I'm starving, but I'm only going to take this one banana and keep walking. No, you're going to have your fill. And that's what it is. It is taking in multiple different projects, is having your fill in the Web3 space.
Or are you going to eat bananas for the rest of your life and not
Or just
eat anything else?
Exactly. and forget that you passed that orange tree, that apple tree, that plum tree, that pear tree, that fig tree, and all the other trees in the forest. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, you guys. We have to get past the tribalism, because, like Wu just said, the institutions, they're not saying, oh, it's just this, oh, it's just that. No, they're doing bucketed ETFs, meaning they're putting their money in multiple different things. So if one doesn't pan out, they're still okay, because they have 4 or 5 others that they're falling back on.
Victory, appreciate it. Let's show our appreciation of getting these 2 big dogs together. Let's go. Yeah, I'm just saying, 5 years, I still feel like newbies at times, so much to choose from.
Absolutely.
Jermaine Zebec for life. Let's go. TK, Rue, what's your lowest range for Zebec and XPR by the end of December in light of the crypto downturn? Well, I'm still sticking to where I'm sticking, which is Zebec. I've upped it to like 20 cents. XPR, let's say 20 cents too. Maybe even a 33. It just depends on what happens with the Clarity Act and things like that, if they're done by the end of the year here. Yeah, so this downturn doesn't, in fact, it makes me even more bullish for the future that the downturn happened right now, to be honest with you.
It's no coincidence that historically, people are still basing themselves off of Bitcoin patterns, but not understanding that the fundamentals of the market is currently changing at light speed right up under our feet. So everybody was expecting October. It's no coincidence that they pulled the rug from under us, because they're trying to shake as many retail people out of this market as they possibly can, because understanding going into 2026 is the year of adoption. It is the year of players truly starting to bring in Web3 processes into their everyday processes that they do with their customers day in, day out. And to know that they're now trying to move these markets, things like the NASDAQ, 24/7. Like, truly understand and see the only way that that's going to be possible is being built out on top of a distributed ledger technology.
So I had a talk last night. We were kind of talking about this in the open mic night. It's kind of interesting. And I told the guys about this in the open mic night like weeks ago. I don't know if it ever made it to a regular show. So shout out to the Patreon. A really good value here on the Patreon, the crypto watch list, the stock watch list, the exclusive show that we do with Max and Future every Thursday. And we also have the open mic nights. Definitely get the Patreon if you want to there. Less than a cup of coffee there. But one of the things I was talking about in there with them is for the stock half of everything that's going on, there was some recent laws that have been passed that will make it easier to push through a crypto ETF. So it's very funny that, or coincidental or ironic, one of those words, that once that was pushed through, we had this big old pullback in which institutions could come and grab crypto for discounted prices.
Absolutely.
And possibly put them in those ETFs.
Absolutely, because basically what that was is they gave them generic listing standards for the ETFs. So before, they had to jump through all of these hoops at the SEC and have a this long in this market and this long in that market and meet this criteria and that criteria. What they said was, okay, here is a list. Hit everything on this list and you can go live with your ETF, basically. So it gave them and that's what I'm trying to tell people. Understand where we sit. We're right at the precipice of either Clarity Act or whatever is getting ready to come out of the Senate in regards to market structure. After that gets signed into law, whether it is going back to the House for a vote or going to President Trump's desk for a vote, no matter which one it is, once that's signed into law, that gives the green light for all of the institutions that are anxiously waiting on the sidelines. And this is the reason why they're anxiously waiting, because not only does the distributed ledger technology sector streamline their processes, but it also dramatically reduces the cost that they currently have right now today. Dramatically reduced it by, in some cases, millions, if not hundreds of millions, and then on a global scale, billions of dollars, if not hundreds of billions of dollars in fees that they currently pay right now in the system that they sit in and interoperating in right now.
Yeah, and that's a good point, guys. And that's exactly how they can bank the unbanked, by having these fees reduced the way that they have it.
Exactly. Not to mention that tying directly into crypto, it allows people to tie with things like a Zebec directly into people's cell phones. And that's how they're going to get the banking, the unbanked, because you don't have to go into any type of financial institution. You can download an app, set it up, and now you have banking access, and you can send and receive money instantly.
Yes, indeed. And it cuts out the middleman, like
Yep.
Jamie Camp was saying right there. And it's like, okay, well, you can just then send directly sender to receiver.
Yep.
You know, employer
to employee, or patron to Walmart, whoever. What most people don't understand is, for these patrons to be a part of Visa's network and MasterCard's network, Visa, that's a 5% fee every month just for them to connect. That's not even talking about the Visa fee that is tagged on every single transaction that also flows through that network. And understand that blockchain cuts out a good 4 of those middlemen and make it from point A to point B with almost 0% of the cost.
Also cuts out the currency conversions, guys.
Absolutely correct. The forex conversions, absolutely correct.
This is monumental.
It truly is. Like I try to tell people, we are living during one of the most transformable and one of the most hugest infrastructure layers to have ever been laid since the beginning of time. It would be something sentiment as coupling together the railroads, the shipping industry, airplanes, and everything that's shipped good and services wise through airplanes, and then saying all those, and because all of those things were innovations of technology for its time. And understand what blockchain is. It is the mega infrastructure upgrade and super technology forward, because it not only tackles what's going on today, but it also future proofs it for the future. So they can literally do anything they want. Anything can be built on top of a blockchain, any use case whatsoever. Most of us today can't even fathom what's going to be built out 5, 10, 15 years from now. And to know we have the infrastructure of some of those things, like a Hedera or a Zebec or a Quant or XRP or XLM or XTC. These things are providing critical infrastructure for the future of Web3 to be a reality.
Let's go. So here we have a $5 super chat from Crypto Crossroads Show. Gilbert from Quant gave a shout out to Red Belly and met the team during his employment with the Australian government. If so, what are your thoughts on Red Belly Network? Do you have any thoughts on, have you looked into Red Belly Network?
I haven't looked into Red Belly, but I know that they're a big deal. I do know that, but I have not looked much into the Red Belly Network.
Okay, no worries. Let's see here. DJT did a partnership with a company that can buy and sell these digital assets. Yes, they did. I think it's backed. They did a partnership with them, possibly. Let's see here. DJT to have a $2.3 billion Bitcoin to hold other coins, tokens, as many other assets that everyone should dig into the company and the assets that is my understanding that they have $2 billion in cash under value, assets under value. So I think they do, and you can use Arkham to look at kind of what they have in their holdings. I'll see if I can bring that up right quick. Well, Arkham will show you what, because Trump has two. DJT is the stock, but World Liberty Financial is like the crypto company. and World Liberty Financial, that you can see what they have in their portfolio. Let me see if I can pull that up really quickly.
But since when you're doing that, while we on the topic of Trump's companies, I want to say which one is that? That's Trump Media Company. They also Kronos, crypto.com, another utility token that's going to be massive. I believe it was something like a $5 billion strategy of Crow that they just announced. Move that, so they're going to start accumulating more and more and more Crow. These utility players, y'all, it is something to truly tap into. Although meme tokens might bring you fast money, but it also brings you a lot of pain when it goes down real fast out of nowhere. And understand, when we're coupling ourselves with utility, the value of the network is derived by the usage of the network, not speculation of a market. And that is going to be monumental when you have hundreds, billions, and trillions like Hedera. No, like they can scale throttle 10,000 transactions per second. Throttle, they can do 100,000 transactions per second without sweating. And then once you add hash spheres to that, it's infinity. Like, truly understand and see the scalability and the amount of usage of these networks that's going to be flowing through these networks, and these utility tokens that power that network, that secure the transactions, how valuable they're going to be as this process and this future continues to be built out globally.
Okay, so yeah, the media company is DJT, and you can buy that on the stock market. I don't know what price they're sitting at right now, but let me bring up this Arkham really quickly. So here is ArkhamFi, and they can, tell you what a certain platform is holding. So World Liberty Financial holdings, of course, they have a lot of World Liberty Fi. They have a lot of USD1, which is their stable coin, their US pegged stable coin. Seems like they have a lot of holdings of Tron, which we know Justin Sun is on their board.
Yeah.
Yep. So they have like 12.79 million of Tron, Mantle, White Rock, and then going on down there, there's some more stuff. So it looks like
they built out a pretty nice portfolio.
Right, and have a pretty good profit as well here. So
Jesus.
So
$6 billion portfolio is insane.
Yeah, that's crazy. So it's interesting that their media side was getting into Crow, like you were saying there. So that might be something for people to look into. Crypto.com is definitely an exchange that has a lot going for it. They have sports predicting on there. They don't call it betting. They have sports predicting. You can also buy stocks on crypto.com. So definitely want to look at there.
Know that they are the first global 3-in-1. They are a bank because they bought 2 failing banks here in America. They are a crypto exchange, and they are a stock exchange because they also bought 2 exchanges as far as the stock market is concerned. I want to say that was 2023, and that was a $216 million, one of those $1 million deal. Yes. And that was right around the time that they also coupled themselves with, as you're popping up right now, the crypto.com arena, formerly the Staples Arena, is now crypto.com arena. And that was a $700 million deal as well. Like, they got some big things going on. Partnerships with the UFC and F1 racing and NASDAQ and NASCAR. And the list goes on and on and on and on. Crypto.com is going to be a behemoth in this space, you guys. So that's another company, especially their utility token, which is Kronos, CRO. Something else to focus in on. Remember, diversification is key.
So here we go. I was showing you guys originally first there was their sports predicting. It'll be interesting with Zebec coming up here on October 25th to see if Uphold does the sports predicting or betting with the Zebec. We shall see. But you see crypto.com already has it. So there's some precedent here, and that they can do mortal sports and baseball. And with Zebec and Uphold is going to be NHL and basketball. We got stocks here that you can purchase on this platform, which goes into what Channing was saying. And then you can also do some like predictions here, a la kind of poly market type of stuff here as well. So very, very huge there. You guys are getting extended extra coverage here from King Channing and Blackrue over here. you didn't know it, but we went into a little bit of Crow too.
Gotta love it.
Let's see here if we got any other questions. What's up, Rico Queen? What's up, Dreamer? Dreamer was in the open mic night last night. Appreciate you, bro. Bugatti, what it do, Rue, and the entire Zebec Army fam. Love you guys. I pray this happens for us. It will. Let's freaking go.
Let's go.
William Mack, salute, bro. Let's go. Yerp. William Mack, fire, 100%. Oli, two of the best in the game.
Appreciate that.
OG Crypto likes it too. Nice, the YouTubers of value. That's a Channing original right there. Let's go. Channing, all is good, brother. Keep up the good work from Crypto Crossroads Show.
Appreciate you, brother.
Zbcn is needed. How are they going to use stable coins? Frady Cat. Well, it seems like they're the transfer protocol for the stable coins. So think about it as TCP if you're like a coding person like I am. TCP is a protocol for transmitting data across the internet. So all you need with that is you need like the IP address, and you put together a packet, and that packet is either acknowledged or not acknowledged. This is the kind of the same thing. These stable coins are gonna kind of be those packets of information, which inside of them is going to contain the information that can be an API, right? So, yeah, and all of that's going to go through XRP, and over top of the XRP, as we're showing right here, is the Overledger. So think of Zebec and the stable coins as being the layer underneath these check marks, if you will, that actually connects the retail and any type of kind of foreign or like any type of fiat, if you will. There.
You can think of your mom and pop businesses, different things of that nature. Anything that's touching just the tangible wallets of the retail, that's when that whole payment system comes into place.
Okay, we got some Crypto Crossroads dropping some alpha on Belly. Exactly, compliant projects will succeed. That's why I'm bullish on Red Belly as well. The Australian government CSIRO department, which created Wi-Fi, is working on Red Belly. Let's go over here to Crypto Crossroads Show's channel. I believe he has some shows on Red Belly. If you guys want to come over here and check it out, let me find that, brother. See if I can bring that up. Okay, I know he has some shows on Red Belly. We're gonna see here if we can find them right quick. I haven't looked into it myself yet, but you're intriguing me here. Okay, institutions choose Red Belly Network right here. So definitely want to check that out. If you guys want to get some more info on Red Belly, and he even has here Red Belly Network and Quant. So if you guys want to do some reconnaissance on your own and check out some videos and see what Crypto Crossroads Show is talking about right there, here you go. We even pointed you right into the direction there. Let's see here. Will BSL and XPR be working together in the future, hitting the same market? You know, they are hitting the same market, and they have Jack Henry as partners together. I don't know if they'll be working together. I know Hedera, they're built on Hedera, BSL is. Do you have any information on that, brother? Have you looked into BSL?
No, nah.
Okay.
Hedera got so much going on. It's crazy.
Yeah, they do. They really do. Let's see.
It's insane.
The Stable Brothers always deliver. Let's go. What's up, kid? Grabo, long time watcher. Peace, brother. So yeah, let's close this up. It's almost been 2 hours. Channing, would you like to close and leave the people with some information here?
I will say this, you guys, listen. I know these turbulent times with the liquidation event and with the downturn in the market, truly understand and truly see that if you're in something like a Zebec or Quant or any other project that is regulatory compliant, that is bringing value and utility to real world players, you will weather this storm and come out the other side way better than the storm started, because they are now actively rushing towards the integration of blockchain and distributed ledger technologies into their everyday processes. And understand, for all of their customers, the user interface will stay the same. Only thing they will know is that the payment process got faster and it got cheaper. And they're using something called a stable coin. They won't even know that, they might not even know that it's built on distributed technology or crypto. They'll just know that it used to be a $4 fee that's now a 70 cents fee or something along those lines. Okay, you guys, stay focused, stay vigilant, truly understand that if you're tapping into the YouTubers of value, that we are bringing you projects that will bring your future self immense value. Okay, you guys. So just tap in with myself or Rue or with the Crossroads brother, like anyone that's bringing you projects that can truly help solidify you in this lifetime and potentially help you build out generational wealth for the next few generations of your family. Truly see what's happening right now, you guys. And this is the opportunity of a lifetime to be at the point where you have whole countries, governments, and central banks building out an infrastructure layer for the financial rails of those entities to be ran upon. This is insane to be alive in 2025 and to know that this is happening right now. Okay, you guys, because most people will only see the back end of this 5-6 years from now saying, man, I wish I knew. And we'll be the ones where they'll be like, man, you're a whole corner. You have a whole quant. Wow, you have 1 million Zebec. That's insane. Understand what you hold, okay, you guys, for real. So I kick it over to you, brother.
So awesome, guys. Hopefully we'll do this again in the future.
Absolutely.
The viewership was very good, so you guys seem to like it. So awesome. Thanks so much for coming on, Channing. We're out. Peace.
Peace.